Get ready for the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Get them sticks down and get the pucks to the net. This is Keith Robert War, and you're watching Rockin' Hockey.
Hunter McDonald with the Northeastern Huskies, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Hey, everybody. This is Stoney Curtis from the Stoney Curtis Band and Count 77, and you are watching the Rockin' Hockey Show.
My name is TC Lewis. I'm with USA Hockey, and we are with the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Hey guys, I'm Claudia Heuser, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
I'm Blake Humphrey from Sacred Heart, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is Jeff Tortora, Blue Man Group, Femmes of Rock, Count 77. This is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Hey everybody, I'm Nina D from the Femmes of Rock, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is Kiara Zan, and I play on Penn State, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
I'm Owen, and you're watching the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is hockey, the way it should be. Welcome to the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
The Rockin' Hockey Show. The Rockin' Hockey Show. This is Rockin' Hockey.
Hi, this is Blue Hockey, and you're watching
the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is the Rockin' Hockey Show. This is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Welcome to the Rockin' Hockey Show, where our host wishes it was OBR season all year long, Coach Dave Mackey.
So we say you like to rock, and say you like to hop. See you take it all the way to the back of the cage, oh yeah!
Hey, hockey and rock and roll fans, this is the Rockin' Hockey Show. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. If it's your first time watching, make sure you drop the peep available on that subscribe button. Don't forget to check us out on our podcast, The Rockin' Hockey Show, on all major podcast platforms. All right, hey, again, this is the Rockin' Hockey Show. This is where great hockey content and great music collide right here on this show. We have great guests, great interviews with hockey specialists, with NHLers, with college hockey players, with junior hockey players, with coaches. You name it in the hockey world, we have it right here on the Rockin' Hockey Show. Also, great skill development sessions for players of all ages that everybody can relate to. We got fun facts, we got Did You Knows, we got funny skits, and we have kick rock and roll music to back it up. Before we go any further, I want to say thank you to Alyssa Sleasman, assistant coach for the Rochester Junior Americans in the North American Hockey League, right here in the Rockin' Hockey Lair. Alyssa sat down with us, had a great interview, and talked about her development as a college hockey player, playing pro hockey, moving on to work with the Carolina Hurricanes, as well as coming here to Rochester now as an assistant coach on our very own junior hockey team. Alyssa shares her thoughts on skill development. She even gets on the ice with us and does a great skill development session working on puck control. Thank you, Alyssa. Hey, this next show, man, what a great show we have for you today. We have from Division I women's hockey at Clarkson University, we have the one and only Haley Winn.
Between the pipes, not afraid to challenge this puck, and she'll score! Haley Winn from Rochester, New York, opens the scoring in Utica. A little bit of a pull and a fluttering puck beats Brantley. Not sure if she saw it, but nonetheless, it's going to be Haley Winn's first goal.
How about that?
Also, from the national team, Haley Winn.
Back in front, Winn protects. She'll walk down with wrist shot, and she'll score! Make it 2 goals for Haley Winn in game number 1. Haley Winn came into this game looking for her first goal on the senior international stage, and well, ever wearing Team USA colors, and now she's got 2.
Hopefully soon from the Olympic team, hopefully Haley Winn. All right, defenseman Haley Winn's on the show. She calls in via Zoom to talk with me and Average Joe about what a great season Clarkson is having, about her plans in the offseason to skate with the national team and hopefully again very soon take a shot at the Olympic team. Haley also shares her thoughts on skill development, all the things it takes to make a great hockey team, all the lessons she used to take as a young hockey player with her and her 3 older brothers that all play college hockey. Don't miss the interview with Haley Winn. Man, not one but 2 great interviews on this show. We also have from the band Twisted Sister, from the band Jet Boy, we have rocker, fellow hockey enthusiast, guitar player Keith Robert War right here in the show. Not only is Keith a legitimate rocker, big time, but Keith also a huge hockey fan, grew up as a Ranger fan, now lives in Vegas and is a Golden Knights fan as well. And Keith shares his experiences and love of not only rock music, but of the game of hockey, all the similarities that go together between the two, and he even shares deep thoughts that he may have interest in being a goaltender, believe it or not. Yes, so right here, Keith Robert Ward joins us in a Rockin' Hockey later. Hey, before we go any further, let's say hi to the band. All right, don't forget, this is a show where the hockey rocks.
Swiatek and Sherman on the right. Stays in the blue line, evades traffic. Swiatek winds up, score! Beautiful move, beautiful shot from the right side.
Music sucks. Take it away, Lord Stanley's brother. I'm rocking this. Yes, Rockin' Hockey merch is now available to you. Check it out at shinnyhockeyco.com. This one, my favorite. Or you can rock a hoodie, or this hoodie. Again, get your Rockin' Hockey merch right here at shinnyhockeyco.com. Today's interview brought to you by Trotta. Check them out at trottarochester.com. All right, with us on the Rockin' Hockey Show today, we have from Clarkson University, Haley Winn. Haley, how are you?
Good, really good. Thanks for having me.
I know you're on a tight schedule with school, so I promise we'll be brief. We just got to keep RJ's mouth shut after a certain time. We got to just go like this and tell him.
I have legit questions. Like, for example, when did you get power back?
Probably in the middle of practice yesterday. So like 2 o'clock yesterday.
Well, I thought you were able to still skate with the power out?
Yeah. Half the rink had power still. So like the actual rink and the visitor side had power, and then we had like our locker room renovated, and our locker room, the men's locker room, our hallway didn't have power. So we got dressed in the dark, but then we're able to practice.
Bro, who cares about those guys, right? I mean,
exactly.
They're not ranked 4th in the country. So
that's right, 4th in the country from Clarkson University. Haley, look what I'm rocking today. See that?
I love it. I saw it. Awesome.
I forgot. Well, I'm just doing a wardrobe change right now. Hold on.
Listen, I don't mess around today. I couldn't find
look at that.
Boom.
There you go.
It's all Clarkson right now.
For those who
Put your
don't
hat on
know,
straight before I thank you. Before I forget, I was doing a little homework before this interview, and I noticed you said that you when you first went to Clarkson, you chose to go there because you loved the hockey there, but you loved the campus atmosphere and the way it felt. At any point in time, did you think about how cold it was going to be there? Did that ever occur when you were choosing your university?
Definitely not. I made the decision pretty early, probably earlier than I should have. Obviously, not regretting it, which is good, but never thought of the weather. Didn't really process back then.
Wow. All right. So you're not kicking yourself now every time you walk outside?
No, it's not too bad, but like it is cold. Like I think we have like a bubble around us. It's just like the air feels colder up here.
Hey, we're going to take a break from the action to check out these Rockin' Hockey highlight clips brought to you by our friends at Howie's. Howie's Hockey, you guys rock. Hey, check out this great goal by none other than John Swiatek at Concordia University, capping off his college career with his 100th point and the game winner. Way to go, John.
Swiatek and Sherman on the right. Stays in the blue line, evades traffic. Swiatek winds up, scores! Beautiful move, beautiful shot from the right side.
So we're talking about what a great year, well, a couple of years you've had with gold and silver with the U18. You won a gold with the World Championships last year. Your team is 19-1. You're fourth in the country. Pretty good run going for you.
Yeah, obviously it's been exciting. Like I said, it's been a good year here. Good first half. We just had a tough weekend against Colgate Cornell and had our first loss in overtime, but an overall good weekend for us. And we got to beat Colgate, who was fourth, so we kind of jumped ahead of them. But it's been fun, and I think the difference this year is our team's just like kind of enjoying it. We're just enjoying the process and in each game as it comes and not taking it for granted. And as far as like the national team stuff goes, it was awesome getting that opportunity. I don't think I was really expecting it to come that early. So just obviously getting that opportunity and then having my family there and getting to experience my first gold medal on the national stage, it was surreal for sure.
Well, I want to two things. I want to go back to college real quick on something you mentioned, because we talk a lot here on a Rock and Hockey Show, is team chemistry, and you guys obviously have it right now at Clarkson. Other than just kind of being laid back, what else is happening with the team that's allowing you guys to gel and be as good as you are right now? Anything particular you're doing or that you did this year that's making it different?
Yeah, right now I think everyone's just like bought in. We have a pretty a lot of depth on our team, so we've been able to kind of roll 4 lines or 60 or whatever the case may be. So I think with that, everyone's kind of bought in, and even if we do have to shorten the bench or whatever, it's kind of just owning your role. And if your job is to bring energy to the bench that game, like we're bringing energy to the bench. So just doing that and then just competing hard in practice, I think, is a difference. And with that comes just having fun. So it's definitely been a fun one so far.
Neat. No, that's as a hockey coach, I'm huge into team bonding and team chemistry, and that's really the secret. Recruiting good players or picking good players, training them or coaching them is separate, but getting them all to buy in and really compete at the level, all at the same level, in agreement, is an event all in itself. Like, you can have the recipe, but how do you mix it properly to make that work? And that's something as a coach that I find fascinating and very frustrating at the same time, trying to get that. And it sounds like you guys have found some good success in that.
Right. Yeah, for sure. And obviously there's not a whole lot to do always up here, so we spend a lot of time together. Like, school just started today and we're back like 2 weeks ago, so get a lot of time to bond off the ice as well.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, we wish you good luck on your run continuing on. I want to talk a little bit about the world stage and what a neat, I guess if we didn't really have a topic for today, but I kind of wanted to bring that up as a topic, is the unique experience that hockey brings to its athletes and its players of being able to compete at the world stage. I'm not saying other sports don't do that, but I think travel hockey in and of itself has always been unique in allowing players to go other places, do other things, get out of your own area, meet new people. And then with you playing on a world stage, that's really taken it to, the max level. So what are your thoughts on the sport of hockey, allowing players to do that? Even when you were playing youth hockey, all the traveling you did, what a neat experience that was. And then now that you're at the top of your game and you're playing in the world championships, to talk about that experience a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like you said, like all my closest friends are from all over the place. I think you just get to meet people from different experiences and different backgrounds that help you kind of bond. Like, for example, one of my roommates in high school is from Germany. So I was roommates with her for 4 years, and now she's playing at RPI and we play them this weekend. So we're still best friends. So it's like your paths just get to cross. And she also plays for a national team for Team Germany. So we played against each other at Worlds. So it's just like paths always cross. So it's super cool. And just kind of getting to see the people you played with in high school, where they go in college, and then you end up playing against them again. And like here on our Clarkson team, we only have 5 Americans. So I'm surrounded by Canadians. But even though sometimes obviously I'd like to have a few more Americans. It's fun to just be around them and kind of get that experience. And then again, like 2 of my roommates played for Team Canada in the rivalry series, so I got to play against them, and just a lot of like paths crossing. And it's super cool to have those relationships on and off the ice.
So how does that work out in the locker room there with those, like you were saying, the rivalry series? Because like this is your second one, and you're one of the younger players on the team, obviously, as USA Hockey's doing that transition from some of the older players to the younger ones. How's that working with your teammates when you get to go up to these things? And this one, you played more games than you thought, right? I thought originally you were doing the first half of the series.
Yeah. No, it's been fun though. Like I said, my roommates are there and my D partner was there, so we're super close. But everyone's just super happy for each other to get that opportunity. Like I have a super supportive team, so I had to miss a few games for the first one, but it's always good when they support you and they can get the job done here without you. So it's fun, but it's definitely a cool dynamic in the locker room, just having being surrounded by all the Canadians.
So you're having a good year. You're putting up some good points. I think you're second on the team in points. And one neat stat RJ and I were talking about earlier is that you've been plus 20 for the last 2 seasons. How important is that for you to have that stat right there?
Obviously super big for a defenseman, I think. Like I said, I have a strong D partner, so that makes it easier on me. But I think that's one of our identities, just having a strong D zone. And I think our defense leads the offense. So as long as we're taking care of the D side of the puck, we'll hopefully take care of the offensive side and hopefully get some pluses. So obviously super important, and hopefully can keep building on that.
Well, I don't disagree that defense leads the offense, but my philosophy is offense leads the offense. So I just play offense all around, no matter what, and then hopefully that just leads to a goal at some point.
Yeah, Dave just happy if he has a 0 plus minus at the end of the game, because it's like, well, I scored 5 goals, but I don't even know where the D zone is. So
Hey, check out this next goal. Not the goal, but the assist itself by Emily Organic. Listen to the commentator. I think he says it all.
Puck is down here. Organic throws it in front. Scores! Organic right to Riley Weber in front. Oh, a one-timer.
Great job, Emily.
Speaking of dialed in, I want to get serious for a minute here. I want to have a serious conversation here. Now, you're plus 20, so you're obviously a shutdown defenseman. You're playing against the best players at Division I college. You played in the world, so you're playing against the best players in the world. You're facing the Kiara Zannons out there that are coming at you full speed. With all that said, you've never went one-on-one with RJ. No. You never went one-on-one with RJ, so I don't know if you can call yourself a star yet until you've gone one-on-one with RJ on the ice.
There's been a long list of guys who have embarrassed me on the ice. There's been a long list of girls too. Actually, Christina is on my. We both have former teammates now, because Christina's on my adult league team now. We drafted her, so we have that pipeline. So we're always going to be looking for a stud defenseman in a couple years.
So on a serious note, go ahead, Haley.
I was just saying, RJ knows how often I'm at the rink in the summer. He can hop on whenever, but.
Well, we should do that because we also have a face-off challenge that we have to do. There's between Kiara and RJ and Nick and RJ, and now we can have a little one-on-one competition between Haley and RJ.
We said we were going to set up
what kind of pressure are you under when you're going against the top players in the country on a daily basis, or where you're at the Worlds and you're like, oh my God, Canada or Sweden has this player, I got to make sure I'm aware of them. How is that nerve-wracking for you, or is that something you kind of thrive on?
Yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. Like the speed going from, even though the speed at college is super high, but going to the national level, it's kind of it's a level up, obviously. So it's definitely an adjustment to get to that speed. And luckily, US has like Kendall Coyne, who's like the fastest women's player in the world. So glad to have her on our side, but it's always a little nerve-wracking going against like Marie Poulin or like someone like that on honestly anyone on Canada. It's definitely a little added pressure, but I think it's nice, kind of the more experience you get at that level and the more confidence you have, it's definitely helped.
Let's switch to youth hockey a little bit, Haley. Talk a little bit about you growing up. You had 3 older brothers. Do you remember back in the day when you used to come with your brothers and take lessons? Do you remember that?
I do a little bit, yeah, for sure. Back at ESL, it was called. In the
Yep.
back.
And your parents would say, "Look, I'm bringing all 4 of them today. You don't have to worry about Haley. Just let her keep up on her own, and she can do everything. And don't worry about her. Just work with the older boys, and Haley can try to keep up." So that was fun, and it's great for your family, the fact that you have 4 college hockey players out of 4 kids. So a great hockey family. You put a lot of effort into it. At what point in time did things really start clicking for you? Do you know, as a youth player, where things started getting, you're like, I'm pretty good here. I might have a chance to do something with this. Do you recall back that at all, or was it kind of just a smooth transition?
Well, probably in my last year of boys hockey, I was in 8th grade, and Francois Mathot was my coach and who I trained with every summer. So kind of meeting him, I think he gave me a little confidence that I wasn't used to. And it was the first year that I kind of played, it was checking and all this. So I think he definitely helped me develop a ton. And then getting to kind of have him every summer as a mentor on and off the ice has been obviously huge. And then I went to Slex Academy in high school, and I think that's also was a big jump because it was my first time playing girls hockey. So all these girls kind of knew each other, but it was my first time ever playing against any of them. So I think that was when probably like 9th grade, because also the recruitment age was different. So like I was talking to colleges in 9th grade, which was like a shock to me. So I think probably like 8th, 9th grade was when I really started to like realize, oh, like the dream can come true. Like I can play Division I hockey. I can go on to do these things. But
All right, coming up, not 1 but 2 great goals by Connor Nansen. Way to go, Connor. Awesome.
Well, I have a funny story to share with you, which you may or may not be aware of. But so when Ryan was on the show last, and we were chit-chatting, and we were talking about how he used to, and probably still does, just randomly start dancing out of nowhere. And he actually said that, believe it or not, that Haley is the dancer in the family. That's what he said. So
no way he said that.
that's what he said. I said, Ryan, you're always, every time I see you, you're dancing. And he said, well, actually, Haley dances more than I do, and she's the one that comes up with a lot of the dance moves. Is that true?
I don't know about that. He kind of has to force me into them, but I'll do it for him because he enjoys it. But
Haley, before we switch gears, I want to talk a little bit more about, I had this conversation with Ryan. And doing lessons with you and your brothers for so long, you put so much time and effort in, and now you're at the top of your game, playing in the Worlds. If you had to do it all again, would you change anything?
I don't think so. I haven't really thought too much about it, but if anything, kind of just staying in the moment more. I think like when I was younger, I just couldn't wait to kind of get to college. I couldn't wait to play on the national team, and I always was super future driven and looked to the future a lot because I was excited about it. And now I'm in the middle of what I dreamed of and what I wanted to do. So maybe just enjoying the moment more, but I don't think there's much I would change. No.
All the hard work paid off and you're happy with it all?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. So listen, this is the Rock and Hockey Show. So we're going to talk a little music here. What is your go-to music?
If it's not game day, usually country or Zach Bryan, but
Dave is slowly getting back into country. He was like an old Clint Black guy, and then he was obviously 80s rock hair band stuff, but he's slowly getting back into country. It's good.
What so that's your relaxing music. What happens on game day?
Well, I'll only listen to music going to the rink, and then I'll let whoever's on aux take over. But I don't know, I try to throw a little rap in there, but I'm not a huge it's a short walk to the rink. I'll get 1 or 2 songs in. But
what's on the horizon for you now for the next couple of years? I know you said you dreamt about playing D1. You're playing D1. You dreamt about playing in Team USA. You're now playing here. What's on horizon for you that you are looking forward to or hoping for? As far as
like the Olympics are in your back of your mind?
Yeah, I for sure. I think they're always in the back of my mind since I kind of started playing. But like, obviously, the Olympics in 2026, that's the outcome goal for sure. So hopefully, I can keep working towards that.
Well, that's awesome. But don't forget, you have a one-on-one match with RJ this summer. So we'll wait till after the Worlds. And
after the Worlds. I don't want to, we don't want to embarrass anybody. And...
I'll be there.
Haley, what kind of advice can you give to young hockey players out there that you've learned along the way? Anything pop out that you could pass on to a young hockey player?
I feel like the first thing that comes to mind is just like making sure you're loving the game. Like, it's easy to put in the work and do all the extra hours and do all that stuff when you love the game. So just making sure you continue to love it and are doing it for that reason and kind of not another reason, and just staying present with it. And it goes super fast. Like, I can't believe I'm already a junior in college. So just enjoying it.
Wow. Well, that's great advice, Arj.
We've had numerous amount of guests that tell us that their kids are still playing adult league hockey after doing it. So that's the base thing. Like, if you could still love hockey where you're doing it at 40 years old, then there's nothing.
And someday, Haley, you'll play adult league hockey too.
Someday.
Really, I don't really want to look past that, but
you got Worlds coming up, Olympics coming up, and then you have adult league hockey. Come on.
I mean, there's nothing better than having to tell your friends that you speared yourself in the ribs and broke a rib when you're 45 years old. It's a great opportunity for you.
I remember, Haley, when I got done playing pro hockey, and I moved to Rochester, and one thing led to another, and I got on an adult league team. My first game, I think I cried before I went to the rink, because this is when you know your career is actually over, when you play adult league hockey.
Mine never started. That's all I did was adult league hockey. So there you go.
Well, listen, Haley, we'll let you go back to school and all your business. Classes, yes. Thank you so much for coming on the Rockin' Hockey Show, and good luck to you with everything you got going on with your season, and then with what's coming up in the spring with USA Hockey. And we look forward to that big one-on-one matchup sometime this summer.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Good luck at the end of the month. Big rivalry series here at the end of the month, St. Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
So, thanks, Haley.
Thanks, Haley.
Thank you, guys. Check out Toronto. It rocks, just like the Rockin' Hockey Show.
The skill development session brought to you by our good friends at Pirani's Hockey World. Hey, what's up, Rockers and Hockers, and thanks for watching the Rockin' Hockey Show. In our skill development session, we have another great session with junior hockey coach Alyssa Sleasman. Alyssa, how are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm pretty good. Now, we're going to talk about the one thing that I get a lot of static for, which is playing defense. So.
Yeah. I've seen you out here.
I can teach it, but I don't like to play it. Yeah. So somebody's got to do it, and it's not me. But that's okay. As long as we have defensemen on our team.
Score goals.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So listen, today you and I discussed a little bit, and it's such an important factor for any player, but a defensive player, especially a defenseman, is learning how to use your stick.
Yeah, I mean, the stick is the biggest tool you have on the ice to be able to take away time and space and win possession back as quickly as possible, right? That's the point of defense, is how quickly can we work together to win possession back and go play offense, and the stick is such a big part of taking away time and space, being able to close quickly on the puck carrier, and then ultimately be able to just win pucks back and go the other way.
So you talked about taking away time and space, so just to dumb that down just a little bit, your stick is gonna get there a lot faster than your body will.
Yeah, and it's an extension of your body, right? So our body only takes up so much space, so our stick really allows us to establish more area to take away from the puck carrier.
So, and your stick is I call it your first line of defense as any defender, but also your stick can also help dictate which way you want them to go. So it's gonna take away time and space from one direction, which means now you're forcing them in the direction that you want them to go to.
Yeah, exactly. It's really kind of, you can kind of really steer the puck carrier into an area that they don't want to go into, right? All the puck carriers, or to score goals, you have to get to the middle of the ice. So how can we, as defensive players, use our stick to steer them so the middle doesn't look appealing? We want to make them feel like the only space is to the outside. We want to use the walls to help us out, to help close the play.
And you hear a lot of coaches talk about stick on stick, body on body. What does that mean?
Yeah, it's just the ability to be able to have your stick. Obviously, you want to use your stick to the maximum advantage you can. So it's not just kind of having it there in space. It's as someone's coming down, you really want to have your blade on their blade to make sure they can't make a play.
All right. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to let you do your thing here, and we're going to talk about some stick position.
So when we're thinking about this, so if coach here is offensive player and is trying to go down there and score, I'm thinking two things. One, I'm thinking I don't want him to cut across my body and try and attack at an angle. I want to just keep him to the outside here. So first I'll establish middle, so I'm in my good low position. I've taken away the middle. So once I've taken away the middle, and as he starts moving up ice, right, I'm going to slowly shift my stick, so I've got stick on puck here. So when we say stick on puck, that's exactly what it means. My blade is attached to coach's blade, and now his options to come to the middle are really limited. If he wants to take a shot from the outside, that's one thing, but even still, we can deflect it away by having this good stick positioning here. So I'm going to make sure I'm watching his body, right? I don't want to get stuck looking at the puck, and I really don't want to end up with this motion. So it's coming up here, being nice and controlled. You can hide your reach a little bit. You don't want to be outstretched too far. You want to have a nice base here, and then as the puck's moving up ice, I'm slowly starting to angle and trying to get that puck off his stick. And on the other side, it's very similar, right? So same thing, I want to establish middle first. He's taking the outside, and then I want to close here as quickly as I can while under control. The one mistake kids can make, again, other than swiping, but if it's on my backhand side, one thing I don't want to do is go here and then reach with my forehand, because now I've exposed the middle. Okay, so use your stick just naturally as it is, so I'll use the backhand here, so now he can't get to the middle here, and I have him continuing to go to the outside, stick on puck, and ultimately I want to try and get this puck off his stick too, right? So if whether I'm along the boards or in open ice, it can be, you can hide your reach, and then you're trying to get a quick pop off that stick. If for some reason I'm not able to take away the middle right away, so say I'm a little too far back, maybe my gap wasn't as good as I'd want, and coach is able to get the middle, that's okay, right? We prefer that we steer him one way or the other, but if he's able to take middle, it's the same thing here where I'm just trying to close as he's coming and get stick on puck. Again, the biggest thing we don't want is a swipe, because now it puts me off balance and he can attack the other way. And we also want to be really careful here if we cross over a step and we miss. Now again, we've exposed that. So we want to just be really strong on our inside edges here, and I'll just do little pushes here to match where he's at and work to get my blade on his blade as quickly as possible.
You talked real quick, I just want to touch on this, even though we were talking about stick positioning, but you talked about what your feet are doing right there. And I always tell defensemen, the less skating, the better, meaning you're just pushing on your inside edges with a nice wide stance here instead of trying to cross over or even pivot until you have to pivot. Maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, anytime someone's coming down on you with speed, you don't want to be crossing over. We just want to work on little C-cuts or kind of little pushes to be able to match their speed for sure. But the second you take this step off the ice, you've now put yourself in a really unathletic, vulnerable position, because now they've got you kind of literally your feet crossed.
Yep.
And now they can attack either way, and now you have no option but to go this way and then reset. So it's just really important to stay on your inside edges. Less is more, like you said. And then again, use the stick as your biggest weapon to steer, to take away time and space, and ultimately to kill the play.
That's why I don't play defense, because I don't have to worry about not crossing over.
Yeah, exactly. Get those linear crossovers going forward. Yeah, so same thing coming this way. If I happen to give up the middle and coach is here, I would want to just make sure I'm steering here while keeping an eye on his body so he can't cut back one way or the other. The biggest thing is, again, if I've got eyes on his body the whole time, it doesn't really matter what he does with the puck, as long as I'm thinking, get my blade on his blade without overextending myself. Is just stay nice, controlled, balanced, and then as he's coming, I'll get blade on blade and look to kill that play.
So I want to just mention something. As you're extending for that puck here, you can see it, but you mentioned your eyes are on me.
Yeah.
Not on the puck.
Yeah.
Right? So because you can't let the puck go by you and let me go by you at the same time right there.
Yeah.
One or the other, but hopefully not that. But so being able to keep your eyes on the player, so it's body on body, puck, stick on stick right there.
Yeah, and it's really kind of challenging yourself to realize, like, even though I'm looking at coach's body, I can still see the puck with my peripheral vision. So it's just trusting that you can still see the puck. You don't have to be eyes glued to it, right? That'd be a worst case scenario. It just makes you really vulnerable when you play against good players. And it's great to watch NHL defensemen, right? If you're watching hockey or things like that, watch how little the defensemen move their feet or they're crossing over. Once they're taking a player one-on-one or whatever it may be, and then watch how quickly and efficiently they use their sticks to kill plays.
And it makes it so difficult because not only do you have to get around that guy, but you have to first get around their stick, which is their deadliest weapon right there. And I tell that when I'm teaching offenses, first you have to beat their stick. Once you beat their stick, then you have a good shot at beating their body, but beating their stick is really key right there. So having a good stick as a defenseman, and you mentioned, again, I just want to reiterate some points here, not swiping, keeping your elbow in so your stick, you're not overextending, you're not swiping and overcommitting your body, you're able to make that play with your stick, maintain your body positioning, so just in case of a cutback, all those important facts.
Yeah. There's a lot to it, but at the same time, it's pretty simple, so it's just about practicing it. And just, again, thinking from the other perspective of if the player has the puck, where do they want to get to and how can we prevent that? So just thinking from both angles there and doing your best to work on those skills.
Awesome. Keeping it simple as a defenseman with Alyssa Sleasman. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for watching the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Hey, a little hockey from home, cross training.
This is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Gotta go, I gotta try, I gotta get all I can just to get by. I gotta fight, I gotta win, I gotta turn it up so high just to begin. All I wanna do is to survive every time I play. Never feel like I'm alive. Do it like you mean it, do it like you care. You gotta do it like you mean it. Do it to 'em, brother, like you want.
Hey, rockers and hockers, thanks for tuning in to the Rockin' Hockey Show. And man, we got a great musical guest with us today. When I say this show has great hockey content and it has kick-ass rock and roll music to back it up, today is no exception. We have with us today Keith Robert Ward, guitar player and fellow rocker. Keith, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Dave. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
How was that intro? All right, or what?
That was perfect. You should open up every rock show with a microphone every night. You should do it. Just
So-
like you wanted the best, you got the best, the hottest band in the world. Rockin' hockey.
And I'm rocking a Twisted Sister shirt just for you, buddy. I know you.
Love it.
We'll get into that Twisted Sister thing in just a sec. So I want to talk a little bit about what you're doing and what you're famous for. So please intervene at any point in time if I don't do you justice. You played in Dee Snider's solo band. You played with Twisted Sister. You've been in a Kiss tribute band for over 25 years. By the way, I got some Kiss up here for you. There's
I saw that.
a couple small guys here you can't see, but I love Kiss as well. So I got some Kiss guys. But you played in a Kiss tribute band for over 25 years. You got 4 local bands that you're playing in right now: LVDC, Retrosonic, Jet Boy, and Vox. It sounds like a pretty busy schedule. Did I get them all?
You got them all, and then some,
And then
and
some.
then some.
Now, did you play with Bailey too, or were you just a tech in his band?
For D, so I was teching and kind of like a pain in the arse to Twisted Sister and D Snyder for years. I was a little kid running around them and getting to be around them forever. But somewhere around like early 2000s, I think 2003, uh, my brother was playing bass for D's solo band. They were called the SMFs at the time. And I just started moving gear, and they said they gave me this wad of cash, and I was like, "What's this?" I'm like, "I can do this and make some scratch." This is amazing. So somewhere around like early 2003, 2004, I started working my way and doing shows, mostly domestic shows all around America. And then I believe 2006, 2007, they started taking me to all over the world, Europe, um, South America, Canada,
Wow.
lot of great places.
Was it fun?
So they took me everywhere around the world. I've been around them almost half of my life, and with as many times as I keep bugging them and telling them, no, really, I can play this stuff. No, really, I can do it. They finally let me out of my doghouse and they put me on stage. It was pretty cool. It was a great moment.
Well, that's awesome. Was that kind of your breakout moment, or were you playing in bands prior to that?
No, it was not my breakout moment. It was just the step up.
Right.
It was that graduation part of, all right, you can hang with the big boys now. It was cool. I guess my breakout was really 1998. I don't know if you remember a cat named Jesse Camp from MTV. This wild dude with hair.
I vaguely remember, yes.
Right. So I remember when he was winning this contest on MTV to be a VJ, and I was just so enthralled with the guy. I couldn't take it. I was like, this guy is. It was just such a wild thing to see a rock and roll star on TV in 1997, 98. The luck would have it, fate would have it. They would just put me, somehow I got in touch with him. That was my big gig. I didn't play on the album, the 8th Street Kids, but I was in the MTV video. I was on all the tours. I did all the promotion and everything like that. And me and Jesse were great friends. We opened up for some great bands like Alice Cooper. We opened up for NSYNC, believe it or not. Mandy Moore, all these crazy 1998 people. It was wild. It was a wild time, and that was really my breakout.
Check out this next goal, Coast to Coast by Carter Castelluzzo.
I'm a huge Twisted Sister fan, so I love Twisted Sister. They were very influential, and this kind of goes along with what I do for a living in my show that I do, this rock and hockey show. Being a hockey player and loving kick-ass rock music. When Twisted Sister came out, the lyrics to like "Stay Hungry" and "The Price," that hit home with me. And I used to shoot pucks in my basement at my parents' house, and I would just play Twisted Sister over and over because the lyrics to those songs drove me, and it inspired me to be a better hockey player. And
absolutely,
many years later, I started a band, and the second song I wrote was inspired by The Price. I wanted to write a song that was moving and touching about me, and I wrote a song. It doesn't sound like The Price, but it's called Hustle, and that The Price inspired me to write that song. So a huge Twisted Sister fan. I love Dee Snider.
Wow.
So when going through some homework with getting ready for this interview, I thought that's awesome that you play with him, and I've actually DM'd D a couple times trying to get him on the show. Of course, he hasn't responded, but
really, I'm surprised actually.
What's that?
I'm surprised he didn't respond, actually. I'll be honest with you. He's incredibly engaging and very warm. And I think he's done things before that, most people would think, well, maybe it's below him. And nothing's ever below him. I'd personally reach out to him for you and let him know, put you in touch with him, and I'm pretty sure that he would do something. I would think he would. I'm pretty sure he would.
No, and listen, we'll talk about that after. But yes, that would be so.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, I would put him up there with one of my heroes because his music and Twisted Sister was very inspirational to me at that time when I was a teenager. And you're inspired by things like that, and we're going to come back to that in a second.
You know where they wrote The Price?
No.
Did you ever hear about where they wrote that song?
No, I've never heard that.
In Jimmy Page's bathroom.
Really?
Yeah, over in England when they went over there for the first time, under all that pressure, trying to get signed and things like that. They had a good relationship with a guy named Phil Clarkson, which was very much has a lot to do with Jimmy Page at that time in the '80s. And sure enough, it would lead them into their house, and they went into the bathroom and they just started writing the song, and it wound up being The Price.
Wow, it's a great song. So, I was watching a video, Keith, and you were doing an interview about that moment, and that was a pretty special moment for you when you got up. They asked you to play and cover for Eddie to get up there and play. Tell me a little bit about that.
Wow. I'm not going to lie, to be completely candid, I had been waiting for that moment for many years. There had gotten to a point on the road as far back as 2015, I just let everybody know, hey, look, I know everything. So God forbid something happens, because with Twisted, the comedy side is just the best part of Twisted Sister. Things would happen. He would have to get flown in by helicopter from Amsterdam to France, just to make shows, and things would happen. People sometimes miss their flights.
Right.
So I was always ready. There was one time on the last tour in Germany that I was basically told by management, be ready for tonight. And I was 100% ready. And unfortunately, Eddie did show up, and he played the show, which happened to be a groundbreaking crowd capacity of 110,000 people in Germany that night. So I was really ready for it. I told all my close friends, I said, listen, if I play this show, I'm quitting after this because I can't do anything better than that ever again. Right.
Right.
But I was, always ready. And it just so happens to be, I knew that the Heavy Metal Hall of Fame was coming, but I guess if they don't need me around, or if they don't need a tech or anything like that, they're only doing a couple songs, I'm not really necessary. And I don't know, I was just kind of on my way to my office that day. Danny Statton, the manager for Twisted Sister, is like, you're going to be on a plane at 4:45. Be ready. I was like, what? Unfortunately for Eddie, he was tested as COVID, and he didn't want to put anybody in harm's way, and they all made a decision about this. So they agreed on it. They agreed to go forward with it. For me to be able to get that opportunity finally to be on stage with them for an official performance was just something I've been dreamed about since a kid. I've dreamt about being on stage with Kiss my whole life. I've dreamt about being on stage with Twisted Sister. I got to play with Angel. I don't know if you remember them from the '70s. I got to play with Angel. I got to play with a couple other people. Remember, I've done hundreds of sound checks with the band. Sometimes, the crew did all the sound checks in Europe and stuff like that. Band would never show up for the sound check in Europe. There are many, many times I've been on stage with the guys, but to kind of have that moment, in front of a crowd, and there's nothing better than a Twisted Sister crowd, 1983, 2023, it doesn't matter. It's still the same raucous energy.
Right.
And one thing I'm grateful for is that I nailed the solo and I didn't mess it up because there's nothing worse I would ever want in history to be left behind as a bad solo on YouTube for the rest of my life. So I was like, thank God I got that out of my system, It was another day at work with the boys. It was great. Guys treated me a little bit differently. It wasn't so much like, beat up on the roadie kind of thing. They kind of accepted me and kind of put me in a special place, So it meant a lot to me. Twisted Sister means a lot to me, as it does to you. It's just what it's done for us with their lyrics, what it's done for us through time and everything like that, what it's gotten us through, and the things that they've done for me. I can't be any more grateful to the band.
Awesome. So let's switch gears and talk about Kiss a little bit.
Yeah.
See, a huge Kiss fan. I'm a huge Kiss fan, and you do work with Stoney, right, on his Kiss night that he does in Vegas.
Yes, I love your episode, by the way, with Stoney Curtis. It was great.
We had laughed so hard on some of those things.
Oh yeah,
his story about their Spinal Tap moment at Graceland was classic when he talked.
Oh, hilarious.
Grass and.
Here's a great shootout goal by Nathan Quantz.
Not the time to be cute. Put it on net. Put it in the back of the net, buddy.
Way to go, Nathan.
Hockey to me is probably it's such a tremendous passion in my life. So music and hockey were really side by side. I really couldn't really make up my own mind. But by the time I got a little older and maybe started to act a little bit more juvenile, or a little bit more ridiculous, doing stupid things, I had realized that rock and roll was probably the right choice for me. I have another way of saying it, but it's not appropriate to say it on the show, so we'll leave that for the 11 p.m. version.
As you became more juvenile, that's a good way to put it. So,
and yes, here's another goal by Connor Anson on the shootout.
On three. Back of the net. Come on, baby. Come on.
Yeah! Way to go, Connor.
So listen, let's talk a little bit about. We don't have to go too long in this conversation because we could talk forever about it. But the role that music plays in people's lives, and obviously it's different for everybody. But you, as a professional musician, obviously it's your job. But you've talked about your influences and what an impact like Kiss has on your life. And I talked about
the
impact Twisted Sister had on me. The role that music has on people's lives is amazing, and it really brings people together. So I love talking about this with musicians, but with hockey players, because there's nothing better than getting prepped for a game in the locker room, and it's 5 minutes before you hit the ice, and you have whoever's working in music puts on the best song in the history of the world, and everybody is ready to run through a wall to go out there and play. And that's what music does. Give me your thoughts on that concept there.
It's an amazing concept. Like being in a locker room when the boys or the girls they're getting amped up for the game. They got their music on. They're just kind of throwing down and getting hyped up together. That moment, that's that walk from the dressing room to the ice. Same thing with rock and roll. That walk from the dressing room to the stage. That, and I'm sure, I bet you, I could probably safely say that it's the same. I think most musicians would probably agree with me that is probably the greatest part of the day, is when the lights hit and there's this roar and the crowd wants it and you want it and your opponent wants it. And in rock and roll, my opponent is the crowd. We're gonna throw down a little bit. I'm gonna give you something, you're gonna give me something back. But there's no greater thrill than getting hyped up for that. And there's a real similarity between being on the ice or being on the stage. Both best part is you both get to be in an arena. That's the best part. But yeah, there's a strong presence between the two, and it's definitely exciting for me. When I did the Kiss stuff, I recently did a gig in Houston, and there's just this epic feeling when that lights go down, and you're behind the curtain and you're waiting for this to drop, and it's just such an epic feeling. The crowd wants it. It's electric, and I know that translates very well to sports, both sports, of course.
Absolutely.
Beautiful feeling.
It is an amazing feeling, and you just described that perfectly. So I couldn't. That was a great answer. So speaking of hockey, let's talk some hockey now, man. So,
What
dude,
we're here for.
dude, that picture you sent me today with Ron Nugay was epic. That was amazing.
My family comes from a very, very extremely dedicated New York Ranger fan base. Um, in fact, I've got a great story I'd love to tell you about my mom and dad. Um, if I remember correctly, Vic Hatfield scores the 50th goal. The first time that any Ranger scored the 50 goals was Vic Hatfield.
Oh,
I
really?
think it was 70 or 71 or 72. I can't remember which year. But my parents got tickets to that game last minute, and they were on the 50-yard line for that game. I'm like, that's crazy. They wound up also getting last minute luxury box seats to Game 7, 1994.
No way.
And that's my dad's dying dream to have seen that. And believe me, it's a very emotional thing for us. I mean, that whole year was a very emotional year. It was a rough year for me because I was getting my butt kicked in high school all over the place being a Ranger fan and a long-haired Kiss fan at the same time, no less. That was a deadly combination. Trust me, it was not easy. But the thrill of that year was just the most amazing thing. So I always tell people, I go, I don't know statistically, mathematically, if there's anybody else on earth that was at the Vic Hatfield's first 50 goal game and at the 94 Cup. Like, I don't think it's possible that anybody else other than my parents were there. So that's a really great asterisk and stat on my parents, stat for my parents, right?
Lastly, check out the great moves and great skating ability and finishing with a great shot, Janssen Wagner. Way to go, Janssen. You rock. Thanks, Howies. You guys rock too. Now, back to the show.
So you're a huge Ranger fan. Now you're a Knights fan. I know you said there's some little bit of animosity with your family.
Yeah, this did not go over well. Starting with mom, mom's like, I love you no matter what. And she just still goes, dad's like, I love you, but I'm still a Ranger fan, And brother one is like, he's accepted it, but brother two, I wish I should introduce you to great rock star himself, Randy. He does not let me get away with this at all. The way I told the family is I used to have a New York Ranger Discover credit card, and then I got the Knights credit card, and I cut the Ranger one. I sent them all a picture, and it was mayhem from that moment on. It was just mayhem. It was just me and my brother kind of did not talk for about a year or two. It was kind of sad and pathetic, but we're back to talking.
That is awesome. Now you should feel fortunate though that your two teams, you've got to see both of them in your lifetime win a Stanley Cup. That's got to be special.
Very, very special. Although, like I said, I really wish I saw it in person in the arena. I was willing to spend any amount of dollar that day, and it didn't work.
If you could give one piece of advice to a young musician or a young hockey player, it could be either or both, what would it be?
That's tough. I think if I were to give advice to any young musician or hockey player, it would be start with discipline. Start with discipline first with your body, with your mind, with your health, okay? And respect the people in charge, okay? Like I have a very very fond for respecting my leaders, okay? When it was Twisted Sister, it was very military. When it was time to stop laughing and it was time to deal with serious stuff, we cut the shit out. Sorry, we cut the crap out. Respect your authority, respect your captains, respect your bosses, respect your coaches. Trust them. Trust them when they trust they're there for a reason. Trust them when they tell you to do something. There's a lot to learn from it. I think that everybody inside all of us, we all have a captain inside of us. We all want to be a leader. We all want to be the kind of the guy, the one in charge. And me, which went from my hockey playing and even from my musical career, I wasn't always the best. And I'm not always the best. So I kind of have to, I give people that respect, whether whoever it is, and respect your peers, respect your authorities, and discipline yourself. There's that will get you farther and has gotten me further in my life. And in simplest forms, I know this kind of sounds silly, but kind of keep your mouth shut. I'm not trying to be like rude or mean or kind of edgy, but sometimes you got to learn when to keep your mouth shut. And I've kept my mouth shut in certain situations over the past 25 years in my musical career that have got me 10 steps further than I would have done if I acted out and went against the grain and kind of fought back. So I think there's a lot to say with respecting people, respecting your authority, respecting your coaches, and trusting your captains and trusting your brothers and working hard, staying healthy. I think that's the most important thing I could ever think of off the top of my head. I don't know if it sounds silly or not. I hope it sounds good. I hope it works, but that's really what's worked for me.
No, that's great advice, and that's great for anything you do, whether you're a hockey player, a musician, or it doesn't matter what you do. Great advice of knowing when to talk, when to listen, and being very disciplined. So, listen, Keith, thank you so much. I will let you go.
Thank you, Dave.
Asking you a question, but I'll let you get back to your life. But thank you so much for coming on the Rockin' Hockey Show. I feel like I've known you forever because you and I have been texting for a couple of months now. But I really appreciate you taking your time to come on the show and sharing your musical stories with us and your hockey stories.
Awesome.
Fascinating. Hopefully everybody listening does as well.
Absolutely. I think you've got a great show going on. You're a great impression to all the kids and your bandmates and your family. So I'm honored and humbled to be here. So thank you, Dave. I really appreciate it.
Thanks. Keith Robert War on the Rockin' Hockey Show. Thank you. This interview has been significantly condensed to fit the show. To see the entire Keith Robert War interview, please watch it on our podcast, The Rockin' Hockey Show, on all major podcast platforms.
Welcome to Toronto, and welcome to the Rockin' Hockey Show.
Hi, I'm Haley Winn from Clarkson University, and this is the Rockin' Hockey Show.
This is Keith Robert War, and I'm hanging out with Dave, and you're watching Rockin' Hockey.